Hey there, I want to welcome you in to view this story with us. I've got two guys here that I've grown to really love and respect. I'm excited to be sitting in between them and to be able to capture this story for you guys to take part in reliving how FCA has impacted each of their lives. And the whole idea is for us to paint a picture for everyone that FCA is so much larger than just a weekly huddle or a camp scholarship or any of that. The fact that what these guys are the story they're going to be telling us happened many years ago, but how it has carried on a lasting effect and impact on their lives. So that you all, including us, can see the greater impact of FCA. So I have Coach Hal Dunlap. Coach has been in Oconee County for many years, native of Pendleton, and has coached at Tomasi-Salem and as well as Walhalla High School, his most recent school where he retired from. And then Coach Frick. Coach Frick actually played at Tomasi-Salem under Coach Dunlap and is now coaching at OCA here in Oconee County. And so, guys, I want to welcome you. Thank you guys for coming out and being a part of this video and being willing just to share your stories. And so, Coach, I'd love to start with you and you just share your FCA story.
It was fantastic to be here. My FCA story goes all the way back to the late 1960s at Pendleton High School, where me as a ninth grade point guard on a basketball team and getting nurtured by people who loved me, who were upperclassmen who were involved with the FCA. And we had a really strong FCA group there at Pendleton. And the pastor from Flat Rock Baptist Church was kind of our mentor. And we had a tremendous weekly meetings. And then he started talking to me about going to camp. So I went to FCA camp, and it changed my life. I mean, it just changed my life literally to where I decided at that time, I felt like I was called to the ministry, and my ministry I was called to was to be a high school basketball coach. I knew in the ninth grade that I wanted to be a high school basketball coach. And I felt like the love that had been passed down to me through FCA and relationship with Jesus Christ was what they communicated at camp. I was meeting tremendous athletes who had so much humility and had so much ability, and how they balanced the Christian life in relation to what they were doing competitively gave me perspective, and they just made the difference. So I decided that's what I was going to do. And then I went to college, went to Clemson, and got out and got my job there, started coaching high school basketball and started doing FCA. And Charlie Frick, who played for me on one of my first teams back in the 1980s, and he was a great player, and we were able to communicate FCA to him, and he went to camp. So what had happened in my life, somebody made an investment in me, and now their investment is paying dividends way down the road in the 80s at a school in Oconee County. And then I continue. I did this for almost 40 years as a coach, and that's a whole lot of people that got the message and did something with it. All of them didn't, but I think that what we did made a difference in all their lives. And the legacy of FCA, to think about, here's a young man as a ninth grade, a little skinny, braces, glasses, ninth grade guy that they invested time and effort and love and money in to send to camp, becomes a high school basketball coach, and he continues to do that message. And then those I've coached. So I just retired in 2018. So I'm just seeing great things out of those guys, all ready to graduate in 2018 as well. Yeah. And Charlie was just fun, and he's done a great job in his coaching as well.
Right. Awesome. Man alive. I get chills just listening, and I've heard this story, but every time I hear it, you speak of investment and legacy, and those are just two, just massive words to think that in the 60s this began, and we're still seeing the Lord use that investment today.
Yeah, and somebody got in the car with me and took me to FCA camp. so they had that ministry there. And so I adopted that method, because with Charlie, I was like, I will take you to FCA camp. We will pay your way to go to FCA camp, and you will love it. You'll really enjoy that experience.
That's awesome. So, Coach, you, through obviously Coach Dunlap's influence, had the opportunity in the mid-'80s to go to Black Mountain, North Carolina, which is just up the road, to one of the more famous FCA camps in all of FCA, and the boys Black Mountain camp. But speak to that, and just the impact FCA has had on your life and the life of your family, and now as a coach.
In 1985, I was a freshman at Tomasi Salem. Mr. Dunlap was my coach, and I had a great family. I had come from a great family. But church, we didn't go to church. I didn't read my Bible. I knew about God. But I just remember Mr. Dunlap starting FCA and asking me if I wanted to go to camp. And I remember him taking me to camp. And I went by myself. That was not normal for me, But it's God's plan got me there, and I just remember people from all walks of life, something I never experienced before. I had a great roommate. I still remember his name. His name was Barry. He was from Escambia County, Pensacola, Florida, exactly where I was born. Yeah, so we always we became true brothers that week. And that's where I got saved. Bobby Bowden was there that week. I remember being in our huddles and hearing, people sharing their stories about their walks and just talking about God and reading the Bible. And, it's I got my old 1985 Bible right there, FCA Bible. I was looking back at some of my notes and, what to read and where to start, and people how to pray, and it was just an unbelievable experience that week. I love sports. I love competing, and God got me to the right place, and I'm just forever thankful to Mr. Dunlap, FCA, and Jesus Christ saving me that week. It changed my life forever. And,
awesome. So let's fast forward. All right, 1985, not to age anybody, but I was one. All right, in 1985, I was one, and little did I know that here I would be, 30, 5, 6 years later, and hearing this story, holding that Bible. It is just, I'm telling you, being a part of FCA has been one of the greatest journeys and joys of my life. I'm not kidding. But fast forward 1985 to about 10 years ago, would have been when our paths crossed. And you mentioned to me and reached out to me because you had a desire for your kids to experience FCA camp, much like you did 20 plus years prior to that.
So as my kids, they were born in 97, 99, so they started getting a little bit older, and me and my wife was really involved in church and with the youth and the kids, and I knew if there was one thing I wanted to do is I wanted to get my kids to FCA camp. And at Tomasi Salem, we had a FCA, and I talked to my kids about it. When they got to be the age, I started looking into it. I think I talked to you about it, and I saw that they had a girls' camp at Black Mountain, North Carolina. I was like, I got to get them there, and and they are not outgoing, and so I waited till my youngest was going into 7th grade. That's the first year they could go, so they could go together. Yeah. And so they got to go, and actually my daughter dedicated her life at and that first year, and they came back. They were so excited. They talked about, they would talk about the people they met. They talked about life changed, and I mean, I could just see. I mean, I could feel it, and same thing with Mr. Dunlap. He did for us. I know the second year at Tomasi Salem, we took a big group of kids, and that's all they talked about was wanting to take their friends, and I said we'll do whatever we can, and I remember you helped us, and we raised some money, and I think we took about 8 girls to FCA camp, and I got them to write down their stories, and I went back this week and was reading their stories, and I mean, it's just, it'll move you.
Yeah. That's exactly right, and that's, you know, we wanted to capture these stories and help everyone see the full effect. You know, it all comes full circle here, where as a young man, FCA, someone invested in you and wanted to get you to FCA camp, and it impacted and changed your life. And now we're seeing that even to this day, some, you know, 60 years later,
That's
but
okay.
60
I like
years
being old.
later,
It's great.
right? I mean, that is, to me, that is the beauty of not just FCA, but in how the Lord works and how the Lord orchestrates all of this and brings all of this just full circle to where through your influence and impact, you were impacted, and now through your influence and impact, young people's lives are being impacted. And guess what? Maybe 20, 30, 40 years beyond our time, we're going to continue to hear stories like this. And that's why folks love supporting the ministry of FCA.
Well, the director of our FCA there at Pendleton, he doesn't know Charlie Frick, but his investment in me goes there, and then all the way to into 2021.
That's exactly right.
It makes a difference.
Right. Yep. Such an incredible story. Again, thank you guys so much. I mean, I have thoroughly enjoyed and continue enjoying the times that we get to spend together and the conversations and just holding that Bible and then seeing the letters in there. I recognize the handwriting from the girls that wrote notes of thanks, you know, and how Black Mountain impacted their life. And, you know, just to be able to capture that and to share and communicate this story with folks that who knows where they're going to tune in and watch this from. We have no idea. But we want you to know that no matter what, when you give, this is how your gift is being used, right here. The fact that when you give, your gift is not just for a moment, not just for a second, but I mean, it makes an impact for a lifetime, in eternity, right? And that is the beauty of the FCA story.
Absolutely. A lot of lifetimes.
Yep, that's exactly right. So thank you for tuning in and watching this little short video. We've got our sponsor for our banquet due to COVID and all the restrictions and all. We decided to go this route in capturing this video to give you a glimpse of the FCA ministry from a big picture standpoint. And so Joel Davis is going to come on and share a little bit about, his involvement with our ministry, how he supports, how he chooses to support, and encourage others to support our ministry. So thanks again for tuning in and watching.
Hello, my name is Joel Davis, and I'm with J. Davis Construction. About 10 years ago, we redid our mission statement at J. Davis Construction to be something more than just providing a service to clients. We changed our mission statement to having a positive influence on not just our clients, but our employees and subcontractors, and do it in a way that honors God. And so I share that with you to say that, we have, we've had some level of success, and through that success, we look at ways we can help our community and how can we give back. And FCA was at the top of my list, because if I think back to when I was in school, the only way that I ever heard anything about faith was when actually David Thorsland, science teacher at West Oak High School, invited me to go to FCA. And if you went to school with me, you know that I'm not that athletic, but they didn't put parameters around that I had to be playing a sport. They just encouraged me to come. And so now, years later, how can I try to encourage that to be continued, especially with my kids going to school? When I heard Matt Campbell was starting to be the leader of FCA, I thought it was a great thing. A few years ago, I asked him to to share with others the success he was having. And although Mac's humble and it's hard for him to brag on himself, but I know he's created a team that has created success. And my children have talked about it. That's why it reinforced my desire to support FCA. And if I'm going to operate by my mission statement, then we're going to give 10% back to God. That's what the Bible says for us to do. And so we do that to a lot of different organizations, but FCA is one of the ones that is very important to me, because I know their mission statement. If you read it, it says their mission statement is to lead every coach and athlete into a growing relationship with Jesus Christ and His church. And so, Matthew talks about creating disciples. And so if you can lead 4 or 5 coaches to become disciples, then look at the thousands of people that you can influence. And so I just applaud the whole group. I appreciate what they do, and I'm a proud supporter. And I would highly recommend anyone else to do the same. Thank you for this time, and I hope you have a great day.